Great, brilliant. So this is the third session of our workshops on Arts Council applications, project applications. So obviously you've sent your second drafts, kind of your final drafts, but I mean, like I said earlier on, we can still do some work on afterwards. If we go, oh God, am I missing one? Oh bloody hell, I've closed some of that files. Just bear with me. And then our screen share. Oh, there you go. That's great. So if we start with me, if we start with you all, so I will screen share. Which I do hate more than anything because you generally can't see there's the gallery. Okay, I can see in the gallery. Cool. So yeah, definitely, and that was the right process to go through, Mia, just to like write at the beginning, just write too much load so that you can get a sense of what the project is. So the summary, this is a lot shorter, Mia. In collaboration with Queen City Horn Church, Blouse and Skirt, such a great name for a theatre company, will R&D Fig and Oil, an immersive Caribbean theatre experience, a sensory exploration of West Indian culture and the Windrush generation, inspired by true events from my own family history. Funding is for 2 weeks of script development and 2 weeks of rehearsal, menu creation and design. We will share our work through a digital rehearsal diary, love it, and to an invited audience from the industry and local Afro-Caribbean community. I would just swap those around so it's the community first rather than industry. And just do that you're prioritizing community rather than industry. A pack will be developed to secure a run for Black History Month 2021 and a UK tour. Great, that's pretty concise, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Have you used all your characters?
I think I'm under.
Great.
I think I'm slightly under, yeah.
That sounds great. That is what the project is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Cool.
So, and this is where we have the full project, more details about it.
No, relevant work.
Oh no, it's your relevant work. Why did they put that first? I don't know. Blouse and Skirt Theatre Company was created by Mia Jerome to shine a light on the Afro-Caribbean diaspora. She will be the writer and actress on this project. Mia has a degree in creative writing. Great, so that's brilliant. That's first, and was commissioned to write 6 plays for Fourth Monkey. She has worked on a variety of productions, including 3 with Goblin Theatre, and has collaborated with Punch Drunk on 3. Amazing, you sound so great. This includes being part of a team exclusively chosen to create the world's first immersive television show, The Third Day, alongside A-listers Jude Lord and Catherine Woodson, created by Punch Drunk founder Felix Barrett, director Mark. Yeah, that's all good. If you need to lose some, you could take some of that out. But in 2020, Mia co-directed Squad Girls, a large-scale outdoor immersive production set in Dagenham and Redbridge Football Club. The writer and the creator of this production, Michelle Payne, said that Mia understands the needs of an immersive show and what's exciting for actors and audiences alike. Mia's work in immersive theatre as an actor positively and thoroughly influenced her style, and I was always confident in her brilliant choices and evident flair and skill. Great, lovely to have a quote. Prior to joining the industry, Mia worked in restaurant management, which has provided her with the skill set that transfers well to the art. She is capable of leading large teams as well as managing budgets and payroll. Blouse and Skirt is committed to developing emerging talent as well as collaborating with creatives and audiences from the Afro-Caribbean community in Essex. That's not necessarily your relevant experience.
No.
So that could go into the project itself. So here's the full project. Inspired by my grandparents, the story focuses on a couple who fell in love in Grenada and who, like many others, decided to move to the UK for a better life. The man left his wife and 2 young children behind to board the Windrush, arriving in Essex in 1948. He saved every penny, but it was 2 years until he would see his wife again. And when she arrived, she was pregnant. A story of love and loneliness told over 3 acts and 3 traditional West Indian courses, each representing a meal eaten throughout the couple's life. Love it so much. So it sounds so great. And shared intimately with an audience. My granddad was a chef. I would sever a limb to taste one of his dishes again. And it's a nice personal thing in there. That's good. We wish to create the show to honour the hardships that he and many of the Windrush generation face. I would probably say we wish to create the show to maybe give a voice to the hardships rather than honour.
Okay.
Or platform, you know, this thing about, because it's a bit more, give a voice means these stories are not told. And I think that's slightly more compelling. Alongside me and producer Belinda Clark, chef John Bentham, and local urban sustainable farmer Jack Horton will be partners. Queen's Theatre. What's that? Queen's Theatre will be partner.
Yeah, sorry, that whole sentence I remember that was my last thing I ended up mixing around on because I keep getting, because my thing when I was going through is that I've realised that initially I had Jack's Patch as a partner, but I realised they're now in-kind support. They're not so much a partner, and things were kind of, and then I was like, is John a creative? Like I was getting like really confused with that. So that sentence.
John is a creative.
Yeah.
John is a creative, definitely. And then the only partner really is us, isn't it? So.
Yes. Yeah, I'll shift that sentence.
And COVID safe plans, what's that? That's on its own there.
Sorry, it's meant to just be the COVID safe plans are because I'm full of characters. so it's like COVID safe plans, here they are. Yeah.
What research and
development? Yeah.
Oh, I see.
A big space, yeah. And also I realised that I hadn't put anything about, there was in your prompts, there was something about remember to mention how it's COVID safe. And I was like, so I was like, COVID safe plans. But
I would just put COVID safe, ready, rehearsal ready, and audience tested show, or you put it there.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be with. So research and script writing. Audience reader. Yeah, this is, I mean, you've used up all your characters, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, but I know I can claw some back. Tell me, what needs to shift.
I would just put that at the end anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's not.
Is it necessary that I say everyone who's involved there?
Not necessarily, because you do put it in. You could just say, I will work with a producer, chef, farmer, and Queen's Theatre as partners. And then you do tell them a little bit later on. You don't, if you want to save yourself characters, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how many actors are in this.
Okay. Yeah, there's 5.
So I think what I'm missing here is a little bit more exactly what's going to happen. So you've got that structure at the beginning of the weeks, haven't you?
Yeah.
I would just repeat that. I think all of this personal, the stuff at the beginning is great, but this just feels like a repeat of the summary, and it needs a little bit more detail in there.
Okay.
Like, what is the design process? What is the rehearsal process?
Okay.
What is the research and scripting? Do you see what I mean? It needs a bit, how are you researching?
Okay.
How are you rehearsing?
There's a lot to get in 1,500 characters.
I know, but unfortunately, I don't get Let me just read you this again. Finally, it's 2 weeks of script development and 2 weeks of rehearsing. So the moment, if I'm reading this, as you know, it's a brilliant project. I don't know what I get the food and stuff, and that doesn't need so much explained, but I don't get what the theatre experience is.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going to be like. And it's interesting you haven't mentioned the actors in it.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean? I don't know what the play is. I know it's 3 acts, isn't it? First act is this, second act is that, third act is that, 5 actors. I don't know. I mean, I know you're doing research and script writing.
Yeah.
But we just need a little, and excuse the pun, a flavour of what that theatrical experience.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Side note, my washing's finished.
Great.
So Mia is saying, she's talking in the third person, isn't she?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
In that section, I am. Yeah, I skip between the third, but like I've skipped between the tenses in different sections, but just for what felt right for that section.
I see. Okay. So
I mean, my preference would be I, to be honest, because it's more personal as the reader. Okay. But you can put Mia does this and this, but my preference would be I, because it just means the reader, it's a much more, we feel connected to you.
Okay. Do you know what it is? I think I had a note from the other week and it said avoid. Where was it from our last section? Avoid, here we go. Avoid I. I've got it in big letters. Avoid I from our last session.
Maybe that was something else and I didn't communicate it very well.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
I prefer I is preferable, I think, definitely.
No problem. That's not an issue.
Said
that's
that for me because Mia, I think Doug said that about something I'd written because I've written it down. You suggested that I didn't put I in one of the pieces. I can't remember what it was, but I've taken it out. But I think that's where that came from.
Yeah, because I wrote it in big letters. Yeah,
I think it might be sadly because you're writing as an organisation rather than.
I'm sure it was me that you. Well, I know it was me that you said it about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if you're writing as an organisation as well, aren't you? Blouse and skirt. So
yeah,
you can keep it as that. I think if you're writing as an individual, it seems a bit strange to reference yourself in the third person. So that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
But I think if it's an individual, I think it's great if it's you.
So this section I need to really flesh out in terms of the flavour of the activity.
Yeah, what the rehearsal is going to, what is the research? How is the rehearsal going to be? Because you haven't mentioned a director, have you? You're making it yourself.
No, well, I'm hoping to get a director on board, but I haven't got someone yet.
Well, that needs to be there. 5 actors in a room, developing. So what it needs to be is script writing, then testing the script with 5 actors, a director, if there's any improvisation or restructuring or exploring the world where we explore the world of the play, just to give us a sense of what the creative process is going to be. Design elements, and when you go into, is that in rehearsal, doing the design elements? So that's part of the rehearsal where we explore the design, we explore the new script, we re-edit, reshape, improvise, recut, just so we go, it feels like a creative process is happening.
Okay.
Because that is the core of what you're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just what that rehearsal process is going to be like.
Cool.
A rehearsal ready, an audience has to show a menu with filmed. Not charging. is on. I think my computer is so over the pandemic. It's like, it just works so hard.
Doug, I thought you were getting up to get a glass of wine. I genuinely did. I was like, he's having another glass of red.
I haven't got one today. I have one. Fridays are generally, if it's on a Friday, I feel as if I've had a little.
I was gonna say, what are you doing? It's your day off. You're allowed one now.
It's not charging.
I've only had one glass of wine since Christmas.
No.
I'm just going to change
That
the
is
charger.
brilliant.
Hold on, I'm just going to change my charger.
I had a glass of wine
Was
the
that
other
to
day,
taste-
last Sunday.
Hmm.
Last Sunday, the 21st. It was my brother's birthday, and
Aw.
I poured myself a glass of wine.
Did it taste as good as you thought it would? Do you know what I mean? Having been off of it, or were you like, do you know what? I can actually do that.
Well, I've always been able to be comfortable without alcohol. It's not an issue for me. But it was a good wine, because I always choose good wine, because I was a sommelier before I was.
Oh shit!
Have you got any tips for a good red?
It depends on your flavour. What do you like? A bold wine? Do you like something light? Do you tend to
more light.
something light?
Pinot Noirs, yeah.
What have I
So
missed?
you're more of a like Pinot Noir. Yeah.
We're
Hope you're on the wine.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll ask you after.
Yeah. Yeah. You got your wine, Doug?
No, it's Monday, isn't it? But it has already an audience-tested show, and menu with filmed and written content for Pat will be gathered from this activity, providing a vital launchpad for Fig & Oil, enabling us to raise the profile of the project and the creators involved. This process will wrap up with an industry sharing, enabling us to network and forge new relationships with potential partners and venues for the future of the project.
For the future of the project.
Yeah, because that sounds as if it's more about Fig & Oil rather than the project itself, which, you know, it is something you want to take elsewhere, isn't it?
Yep.
I've always think that's really great. Just, yeah, what's happening in the room?
No problem.
Yeah. And something about the design, you know, why is the design important? Smell, sound,
Yeah.
Foley and costume. About, you know, creating an immersive, how do you create the immersive experience? The ambition, quality, dynamism, inclusivity and relevance and sustainability, they're from the Let's Create.
Yeah. I saw another successful bid do the same thing, and I was like, that's clever. And so I tried to put mine break it down into
I don't think, I see what it is, yeah. I don't think it should be there. That's about how it develops your work. That should be about the project rather than
okay.
you, but just take those out. They should be about the project itself rather than the individual.
Okay.
I think you've got all of those things in there. That's absolutely fine. Because Let's Create is not about your development. It's about the actual project, the activity itself. I'm an emerging artist. Oh, stop this one. Oh, yeah. I'm an emerging. Do you have to say, albeit a 40-year-old one?
Yeah, because time and time again across the industry, my biggest issue with that emerging artist, it's like usually capped at 30, you know, or, you know, it's like, are you 18 to 25 emerging artists? And it's like, okay, no, I'm an emerging artist, but I'm 40 years old. I didn't know whether that was, because I've tried to take out the kind of, you know, I'm fortunate, and because there was a lot of me being, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean about albeit. Why didn't you just say I'm a 40-year-old emerging artist?
Okay, no problem.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
Just, are you emerging? Because from what it looks like in your bio,
that's quite true. Yeah.
You're not. You're an artist.
Yeah, I mean, I am an emerging creative. Like I've not directed that many shows. I've done yeah, my plays that I wrote were for you know, a school theatre company. They've not been full on commissions. Yeah, and I've only been in the industry 3 years, so I would say that I'm an emerging artist.
I just think it reads like that you're an artist. You've worked with Punch Drunk, like you've studied, you've done everything like that, and I think that it reads in your bio that you're really capable within your field.
I think you're an emerging. I think you're an emerging leader.
Okay.
I think that's very true. I think you are an artist.
Okay.
You're an emerging creative leader, albeit a 40-year-old one. That's still all fine. But I would put a creative leader. I am a 40-year-old emerging leader. Creative leader.
And Blouse and Skirt is an emerging company, brand new
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that's fine it was only until I was 35 and then that explains it. But yeah, I think that's right. You are an artist, definitely. And I know it's hard to say those things, but you are. But a creative leader actually is a more compelling argument as well.
Okay.
I created Blouse and Skirt to celebrate Black heritage and allow me to develop projects that I care deeply about whilst retaining creative control. It's nice. By working alongside my mentors and the partners involved, I can learn and continue to grow as a creative. And that's great because you've called yourself a creative there. It will enable me to forge connections and gain confidence as a freelancer. All elements of this R&D are geared towards putting us in the best possible position to proceed with a run, thus giving us the chance to further connect, change, and inspire. To proceed with the run, I wonder if that sounds as if it's related to COVID. It's not though, is it? All elements of this are geared towards putting us in the best possible position to create an incredible piece of work.
Okay.
An ambitious piece of work.
Yeah, but if you look at my next sentence, well, this will be suitably realised with a bold production. Does that not? So should I just merge those two sentences?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know. Proceed. Why proceed with the run?
Okay.
Just to create.
It's just about I'm just giving the idea of sort of like laying that foundation with this R&D. So, okay, yeah, okay, I can, yeah.
So you're saying it will put you in the best position to have a run later on?
Yeah.
All right. Then, so all the elements of this R&D are geared towards putting us in the best position to realise the first stage of this.
Yeah, or laying a solid foundation.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Then this will be suitably realised with a bold production OIC. Wind rush generation in a new and innovative way, which many big commercial venues are unable to do. Yeah, so is that saying like you've got the foundation of the production, which will then allow you to take it a step further with a fully really, yeah, that's not quite clear in there.
Okay.
So you just need to rephrase those two sentences.
Yeah, no problem.
This will give you the really strong foundation to pitch the project, to secure partners for a much larger, fully realised production. Yeah, tell us how to do that. Providing opportunities for ethnically diverse and underrepresented creatives, making work for and about Black audiences with the rise of the BLM movement and the Windrush scandal. Still, that's your project. That's not how this develop your work.
Okay.
I mean, you could say this gives me the opportunity to make a piece that's really important to me in in the context of the rise of the BLM movement. Does that make sense? But it's providing opportunities for ethnically diverse and underrepresented creatives is not developing your work, that's developing their work. Does that make sense? But I think, you know, that's really important to say. It enables me to make a piece of work that I really, really want to make, and realize, you know, and realize my own voice within the industry. That's really important.
Okay.
And the sustainability, develop a best practice model of creating sustainable work with other factors alongside our fully vegetarian menu.
It's about the project, isn't it? I've not
about the project, yeah. That's why you should put it back. Which is why that sustainability stuff is, you know, these investment principles, which is what they are,
yeah,
it's best applied to the project. Yeah, but I mean, it's giving you a good shape, so don't worry about that. But I think that should go there. But the providing opportunities for ethnically diverse and underrepresented creatives should be definitely in the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's really important. But that's really great there. But I think this thing about, you know, giving your, you know, allow the project will allow you to establish your voice within the industry, I think is a really compelling argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, working new people, yes. Creating, commissioning new work, yes. Reaching new different audiences, yes. Trying out new approaches, yes. Undertaking professional development, yes. Organisation development, yes. And professional development is yes.
I spoke to someone and they said that you shouldn't tick all of them, even if it, do you know what I mean? That it's not a good idea to tick all of them. And I was like, why? I feel like my project does do all of that.
Yeah, it can tick all of them.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah, yeah.
That's fine. What was their argument for not ticking them?
I don't know. Yeah, no real solid answer. Just the main ones that should stick to the main ones that it focuses on.
It's doing all of those things, though, isn't it?
Yeah, agreed. Like that's what I thought that was ridiculous, but yeah.
That's all great. That's all great. And you do say what they're in this section. You are saying what they're actually doing in the project as well.
Yeah, the top sentence should be yeah.
Okay.
I need to put in for Tiana and Elliot, the other two actors. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're your creatives. They're not, you know, they're the artists, and you know, the chef is an artist as well. It doesn't always have to be actors or traditional theatre creatives. Who will engage with your project? This activity engages with a number of people beyond the company, which include. These are not the people you are engaging with your project. So this is a common mistake, and it's happened in a couple of applications. The people you're working with are not the people you are engaging with. That's in your artist section. You've done all of that. So we only want audience or participants in this.
Okay.
Not people you are employing.
Okay.
40 invited members, so that would go. So you've got 40 invited members to our R&D sharing, including industry pros and peers. Again, swap this around because you're prioritizing industry pros. Approximately 4,000 people via digital rehearse diary. That's a really exciting part of it. Jack's 14,000 Jack's patch followers. These are non-theatre. Yeah, so these are non-theatre goers interested in sustainable food. That's great. Queen Theatre Network over 40,000. But mainly, we anticipate live performance to reach up to 2,400. So you get to put these figures in that box later on, your reach, don't you?
Yeah.
They shouldn't really be here. That's more in your kind of marketing plan. So what you can say, the most important thing is the 40 invited members. And from those, and be a bit more specific about, I mean, that says how you're going to reach them later on, but that's the priority there, is the Afro-Caribbean community. That's what they want to hear. And audiences through digital and social, profiling the project through a digital rehearsal diary and social media. Yeah, and that's great. We anticipate Fig and Oil's future live performances of this production or other productions.
This Fig and Oil of this show, Fig and Oil.
Yeah, of this show. So what we don't know is where you hope that show to go, where it also is going to be seen. Do you see what I mean? There isn't something, I think what you need in there is, and it's in this industry, which is about the future of the project, is if you've got people who are interested in the project now, that would be really great to put in there.
Okay.
So if you had another theatre or another space that you go, that we, and future audiences for Fig and Oils when we secure 3 or 4 venues for a future tour. Okay. Yeah. And then this specifically Afro-Caribbean audience members, particularly those of the Windrush generation, that should just be up there with the 40 invited members.
Okay.
And yeah, and then obviously here targeting, you can repeat it here, that's absolutely for a diverse range, including metroculture, cultural burst, on which it depends on experience seekers. Yeah, that's okay, that's fine. But this bit is the important bit that we haven't slightly unpacked. I mean, if you said it was from particular community groups from Essex, well, you're going to explain in the next bit where you're going to get those. But I would say here, how many are going to be local community members, and how many are going to be industry? Because you could look at that and go, well, there could be 30 industry members and 10 audience.
Okay.
And have you said about testing in front of an audience of community members elsewhere in the project? Because I think that's quite a key part of the project.
Yeah, the tasting during the rehearsals, which is I've made, that's got to go in where I'm unpacking what's happening in the rehearsal period.
And also then the performance as well. That in front of you're testing the show in front of your target audience. That needs to be in there as well. So here, how will people engage with the project, and what experience do you want them? Who will engage with your project? How will they engage with your project? What do you want them to experience? Yeah, R&D sharing, digital diary, website promotional video. Bells and Skets committed to engaging with the Afro-Caribbean community whose stories we wish to tell. This R&D will be crucial to determine how we platform the story. By working with our partners and mentors throughout the process, we can ensure this is done in the best way possible.
I've just realised it's 5 ways. I haven't put the tasting in there.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think this should be in the section up. because that is who will engage with your project. And this is a really great thing. Caribbean families congregate and connect around food if you feed them. With the audience agent reporting that Black people make up doing it, there's still much work to do there. By providing fully authentic or immersive century, so audiences were able to engage through taste. Yeah, no, that I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that can be here because that's what the experience is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But put that first.
Put it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's really great. It's committed to engaging with the Afro-Caribbean community whose stories we wish to tell. This R&D, well, so that's the thing, isn't it? About this is not. I don't think this says how will people engage with your project and what experience you want them to have. That's more how you're going to do it.
Okay.
So what you want them to do is through the taste. So exactly, we're going to get so many people in the room, they're going to taste it, they're going to feel this, they're going to respond in this way. And this is after this lovely quote there. They will, in the R&D, they will see themselves reflected on stage, their stories will be told, they will be moved, they will be given the space to feedback. And then, yeah, definitely on the website, the digital diary, if there's any way of kind of, any way that audiences can engage or readers can engage with it and respond, I think that would be great. But it is, what will they get from the project? So that little section there doesn't do that.
Okay.
It just says that that's how you're going to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Focus on the how more. Yeah.
Yeah, how, what the feeling is.
Yeah.
What do you want them to have? What experience do you want them to have? That doesn't say what experience you want them to have. So you go through the tasting, you want them to have this experience. Through the sharing, you want them to have this. Through the digital diary, you want them to have this experience. Through the website, the promotional material is less important.
Yeah.
Well, no, unless you know the promotion. Well, the thing is, the promotion. Are you making?
The promotional material is post. It's post R&D, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. But I've got the tasting as well to put in before the sharing. That comes before the sharing. So yeah.
Yeah. We will engage with venues and producers using our own networks, as well as those of our mentors and partners. This time is invaluable to develop an audience development plan and lay the groundwork to connect meaningful. Yeah. Website and work with the graphic design to develop imagery for the show and create assets. Is this for the future or for now? For the R&D?
Well, sorry, is what for now?
We will create a website and work with graphic designers to develop. Is that for the what you need? So your 40 people, you got to tell us how you're going to get them.
Oh, okay.
Because at the moment, lots of people say that they can engage the least engaged.
I've got an
community.
engagement producer in my budget.
All right, that's not in there. That needs to be.
Okay.
In there.
Yeah.
And your personal contacts, and that is because otherwise you might. It's very difficult to get the least engaged to come to something.
Yeah.
So you need to say how you're going to get those 20 least engaged to come to the tasting and come to the show.
Yeah.
And then you can talk about the project as a whole in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also talk about the diary, where it's, what platform it's going on, how you're going to promote it. And that's where you put all your figures are in here.
Yeah.
So don't use the figures in that. Yeah, don't put them in the other section because it's taking up characters. Anything you can put somewhere else, just don't repeat it. So that engagement thing is, really specific. Which community groups are you going to? You've got an engagement. If you've got an engagement producer, you kind of need to tell us what the engagement producer is going to do. because so of projects often, you know, money's been invested in projects, and then you've got to, in that engagement thing, we need to go, you really, really thought about exactly how you're going to get those 20 members in. Yeah, because without it, it's redundant, the piece.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah. Tell us how you've raised or plan to raise the income from other sources. Okay. Mentors secure a huge amount of income from mentors and collaborators, equating to over 10% of the overall budget, allowing us to keep our expenditure to demonstrating the commitment of our partners and support of our work. The R&D will be vital in securing further financial for a full run and tour. Yeah, that's good. You're not charging to see the show, are you?
No, not for the R&D, no.
No. Tell us about your supporting kind. Our high level of in-kind support represents strong commitment by our partners to develop this kind of project. The securing of rehearsal space and professional value of a rehearsal room at Queen's Theatre Hornchurch is calculated using the standard Highland, the value or fees for mentorship and the consensus of we're doing it. Yeah. We've also secured a vital network mentor. Yeah, that is, tell us about your partners. This is just your support in kind.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because you're in, do you know what I mean? There's in-kind support coming from you, so.
Yeah, but you don't need to say his industry and venue experience were extremely valuable throughout this process and for our future. That's in how, the Queen's is a part, yeah. 20 hours I mentioned to training justices, yeah. That's okay. That's it. How many characters have you used?
I think that's close to the edge.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's fine. If you use that, that's it. Keep it in there. That's absolutely fine. If you haven't used them up, then that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. I'm not over on any of the sections.
Great. Well done. The producer and myself will be responsible for managing the budget for this project. Belinda has received extensive training in budget management through her own high experience in handling theatre. Due to my previous life as a restaurant, I am confident in handling large budgets and facilities. We have frequent budget meetings throughout the project and set our strict measures, including providing regular updates on cash flow. We will implement the use of shared spreadsheets to monitor and scrutinise our finances at every stage, also creating a sense of accountability to the team. So brilliant, it's great. We have included contingency to provide additional funds. We have nominated company bank account, which will be open for company members to keep it as an mental. We will also advise the budget necessary and work with another pair of eyes, ensuring financial diligence. Budget reflects the company values. We strive to pay all creative industry standard rates. Our fees have been negotiated. Yeah, that's all good.
I just copied and pasted from your. This is all from your online.
Yeah, you don't need you need. That's
yeah,
me.
I just put it in there because it's there, and then I was like, I can slip from it when I have to go into.
Yeah, you just need to say what you need to other people. You need to write about that we have 5 years of supporting artists and their projects and their development, because that's me as an individual rather than it's about the Queen's Theatre.
Okay. Do you have like a I don't know, like a standard thing that you would put in that section about the Queens, or should I just have a look on the website and
just look on the web? I mean, just look on the website. It's a major producing theatre community hub and has 5 years of experience of supporting artists with their projects, particularly through the critically acclaimed Essex on Stage project. Because that's me as an individual rather than as the venue partner. Yeah, so he's not sustainability advice. He's not a partner.
No, yeah, I realise that he's in the wrong
Yeah.
place. He's got to go in my in-kind support.
Yeah, yeah,
But also he's a supplier as well. It's weird, but yeah, in-kind support, because he's
yeah.
doing sustainability advising in kind, but supplying us with our veg.
Yeah, great. Well, there's a personal choice been on Monday for years. I haven't now spent 1 month intensive planning a personal could great. To date, we have confirmed our partnership with the UK, secured a network of mentors, Zoom calls to family, both the UK government and sales story. Great. That's nice because it's really detailed, create story structured, prepare. That's great. It's all really lovely. So evaluation, to evaluate continually throughout the creative process and recognise this as a key to developing about script meetings with mentors and drama text scripts advisor to ensure the script is evaluated through the 2-week writing process and beyond with feedback provided in order to drive artistic development. Create a team creation to allow us to monitor and evaluate our progress, organisational development and identity. I need audience feedback from the showing. Great. You haven't put the tasting in there as well, have you? Because that's evaluation as well. The tasting.
Yeah.
Audience feedback from the showing will enable us to understand success of our activity and allow us to create a plan for future public engagement. With all material created will be archived for future reference, and evaluation of the producer will place model financial activity. Then obviously you'll do your evaluation at the end as well, because you'll have to do Arts Council evaluation. And this is one thing as well, I haven't mentioned this, you should pay yourselves to do the evaluation afterwards as well. People often never do put money in to do the evaluation. It does take some days to write, because you have to write an evaluation form, which is almost as bad as the Arts Council this application. It's not, but it is it's an Arts Council form, so pay yourself to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. That all looks good. Is that all right, Mia?
Yeah, thank you so much for that feedback. Yeah, it's loads to get, like, yeah. It's interesting, you know, I've been going through and just it's mad how just another set of eyes and you go, yeah, God, fuck, that does not belong there. Yeah, you're right. And it's just interesting, like, yeah, to have another eye go over it. But those are some fabulous notes, loads for me to get on with this week. It's much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug.
And just have a look at your budget.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
It's often really useful just to have outside eyes on it, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Is that the application or is that it's the application on it? Budget.
It sounds so great, Mia.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds brilliant.
Oh, thank you. I'm really excited. I really, really hope to get some money.
Yeah, liability insurance, that's good. That's in there. Let's cancel England. Yeah. So just give yourself another £239 to do the evaluation.
Really?
Well, put another 200 quid in there for the evaluation and just take it out.
Where did I put my pencil?
But that looks good. So who's missing? Is anyone missing? You've got lead producer, dramaturg, movement director, actor, producer, actor, waiter, designer, executive chef. Yeah. Yeah, great. All looks good. So, well done.
Thank you.
Such an exciting project. It's great.
Oh, yeah. I'm buzzing.
Great.
I'm going to mute. Thanks.
So, Anne, I know DK.
Same.
And everyone's in different, at different stages with the, with the project. So. In 2020, I discovered the story Princess Danubli, the first black woman to enter a beauty pageant in the UK in 1908. With the help of Ace, I would now like to expand my critically acclaimed debut play from 30-minute episodic monologue into a full-length play, working in partnership with partners. A grant from Ace would allow me to collaborate with researcher, have some writing time, R&D, the work with 2 actors and a dramaturg, rehearse with the director, and perform the piece at 3 venues, as well as wrap around discussions and the creation of materials for a future tour. Boom. It's brilliant, Anne. It's brilliant, Anne.
I literally just copied what you said last week. So actually, you are brilliant, Doug. Thanks for that. I'll just put basic idea, keep. That's all I've written down.
Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't ask when's you're starting, Mia. I didn't look at your activity dates. Mia, she gone?
No, because we spoke about June last week, and you said that's fine. So I'm just waiting for confirmation from my chef to get some dates in, and then I was hoping to come back to you. I'm going to do for this week. It's working through my notes and the proper activity plan, the day by day breakdown of activities.
Great. Just in that case, because it is June, will you just, I know I said make sure it's COVID secure, just when you talk about rehearsals and the performance, do put COVID secure rehearsals, COVID secure performance.
Okay.
Socially, COVID secure and socially distanced performance. The first time you mentioned rehearsal and the first time you mentioned the performance, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it will be still socially distanced in June.
Thank you.
And these dates, when I've just said about, I've basically chosen these because I feel like, maybe I should have chosen something a bit earlier, but in terms of projects potentially that I might have, I know that October would be realistic. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, great, brilliant. That's fine.
Is that all right?
And that's enough. You can apply that far in advance, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all good. 8 years ago, I decided to pursue a career change from a secondary school drama teacher to an actor. Having attained an MA in acting at Mount View, I have, in the 8 years since, gone on to have a glamorous theatre career, including having performed 32 times at the Shakespeare's Globe, the West End Monomega, and currently holding a position as both diva role of as both a member of a Pitlochry Festival's theatre, first ever winter. Over the years, I've taken part in several R&Ds for both musicals and new writing, and as such, I've gained a good understanding of what makes for productive sessions. Yeah, that's all great. Yeah. With regards to new writing, I have performed in a array of new pieces and at venues, including Opera House and the Birmingham Rep. Despite writing being relatively new to the response to my 30-minute monologue was a positive one, with critics stating blah, blah, blah. Yeah, great. Very little has been recorded about Black Essex history, and so the discovery that the first Black woman ever to enter a beauty pageant in the UK took place in Southend in 1908 was a huge revelation, having commissioned last year by the Queen City Hundreds to both write a 30-minute monologue based on her life, and I would like to write a full-length play seeking to help a Black researcher, Rihanna, I can't see my glasses, is that Elube?
Yeah.
We will together delve into Princess Danubli's life and discover what times were like for Black people living in Essex. That's really exciting. I would then use delegated writing time to not only reflect on what I have written so far, but to incorporate my research into my writing, and with the aid of Douglas Rintule,
Lady Douglas Renee.
I would write the full play. 2 weeks of R&D would mean that I would explore the text with 2 actors and a dramaturg and evaluate the work in greater depth. With the piece fully written, I then plan on having 3 weeks rehearsal with director. Yeah, it's fine. And have 3 test performances: 1 night at the Queen's Theatre, Hornchurch, 1 night at the Mercury Theatre Cultures, and 1 night at the Balmoral Community Centre in Southend-on-Sea. Is that all happening?
Well, I found out about this centre, and now I'm like, I emailed them on Thursday being like, hey, how much? And then they haven't messaged me back. But it sounds great and lovely. And when I was talking to Josephine Melville, who basically knows lots of black people in Essex, she was like, I was like, right, where do they gather? What a terrible term, but that she was
you're
like,
you're allowed to ask that.
I know I can. So I was like, where are they? And she said, oh, we want to try the Balmoral Community Centre. And I was like, really? Had a little look. It looks really good. So actually, I mean, like, yeah, Mia is thinking about you and this project, and if ever you did it in like Southend, I was like, fucking shoving this bad boy. And apparently they just had like $250,000 refurb, and they've got a little theatre space. I mean, the website's terrible. It's got fuck all. But I was like, and it's in Westcliff, which of course is where you're gonna find us. So I was like, I'm gonna shove that down. So is it confirmed? No, because they haven't emailed me back. Does it sound great? Yes.
Great. And do you want?
And it's got a kitchen, Mia, as well. It's got a kitchen.
Oh, that sounds perfect then. You should definitely do that.
It did just sound like you say they've just had an £500,000 reefer.
They're gonna love us, no matter what.
And do you unpack that later on, that it is a community centre that's used by the black community?
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember if I did or didn't. I don't know. We may find it, we may not.
Yeah, definitely, because I know, because that just shows you've done some real proper research. But that's how you're going to reach the audience, isn't it? It's by performing in that bit later on. After each performance, I will run a Q&A with myself to register feedback and the audience to register into encourage. I'd love having a Q&A with us, and to encourage Essex audiences to consider how they best could support Black Essex women today. Yeah, that's really great. I love that as well, but consider how they could support Black Essex women today. That's really great.
Cool.
Through my monologue, though my monologue was a success, I was very new to the process to me. Originally, I lacked confidence in my ability to write, but the process made me realise that I am a star, that through an even greater challenge, I have the skills needed to write a full-length play. Great. ACE funding would certainly help me to develop my skills as a producer. It would be my responsibility to liaise with. But right up through the process, I may realise, yeah. So ACE funding would enable me to realise this, and certainly help me to develop my skills as a producer. So it would be my responsibility to liaise with all practitioners, deal with contracts and finance, make sure deadlines are met, and working with a researcher would mean that I would learn how to best delve into history, approach archives, internet books. That's all great. As an actor, until now, much of my work I have done has been in Songbirds, and ACE grant would allow me to develop as a performer by giving me the chance to perform my first ever solo show, something Essex audience would appreciate, as this style of theatre is rarely offered to them, and working with a director would also develop me as an actor, as the method of rehearsal and directing is new to me. Often in plays, Essex women depicted as women who dress and behave in a way that attracts attention, not intelligent and stylish. I would like to challenge myself by writing and performing a female Essex character that dispels outdated female Essex stereotypes, and for once brings Black Essex women into the spotlight using an empowering story. Yeah, and just tie that in, because that's sort of the project though as well. That is the project too that you're doing. And I think if you, something about that role being available to you as a performer and why that's important.
So write more about about more about the importance of an Essex black character.
Yeah, for you as well.
Okay, for me.
You know, how will that develop you as a work? Because I think that's probably in a similar way we were talking about Mia, about voice within the industry. And, you know, and authentic creativity. You know, no, that's not the right word. But something about voice, your own creative voice within. But some of that could go into the project because that's quite strong. I think most of that often in Plays Essex, that could be in the project. Working with new people, creating or commissioning new work, reaching new different audiences, trying out new approaches. You're trying out new approaches, aren't you?
By taking it. Okay.
I think because you're working with an art, you know, with a researcher.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Writing a full-length play.
Yeah.
Undertaking, no, that's not organisational development. Undertaking professional development. Yeah. Artists. Yeah, that's all great. Yeah. We haven't spoken about the attachment of work either, have we? Mia. Well, I think the attachment of work is all the stuff that you couldn't get elsewhere. I think we spoke a little bit about, so if it can be a video. So we did talk about this because Anne, you could send a video.
Yeah.
We did talk about that. Or it could be your website, or it could be press cuttings about the show, or it could be all of those things. Visuals are really useful, I think. Attached video misfits, sorry, yeah, it's there. Okay, yeah, great. Who will engage with your project? You will. Here in Southend, we are lucky to have a large multi-ethnic community, yet it's no secret that even 21 we find ourselves in the place where as a town we are still very divided. With two largest and south, both touring venues, which means the stories that come to us are rarely stories that reflect our own local history of people. Often I find that whenever I tend to show at the venue, I'm the only black woman in the audience, and one of a few. We have to ask ourselves why when one of the theatres sits in the heart of Southend's black community, black community feels so disengaged from it. I believe it is in part because the stories being offered to them do not reflect their lives, and eventually they more often they're not focused on the character's skin colour and struggle rather than the character's sense of progression. I believe the story of Princess Anu would give a voice to underserved and underrepresented local black Essex community, particularly black women. Yes, as a black woman living in Essex, and she experienced struggle, but she did not let her struggle define her. Yeah. Which I want to say that everyone could come because it's necessary. Yeah. So I think that's good. But you haven't actually said black female audiences, you know, just as a.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? That's.
I've mentioned them, but I've not said.
Partially.
And I've mentioned who they are, but I've not said. And I'd like them to come. Like, and it is aimed at them. I've just been like, there's black women in Essex, like, but I've not said that they're invited to the party.
Yeah.
And also, I've not mentioned any of this, like me did, like the Metro Culture.
You don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, I think what you should just do. I think this chunk here is what they will experience, which is seeing themselves reflected on the stage. In places where there are no black narratives, that's where that should go there. Does that make sense? So this, you want to say, Metro, you know, you want primarily black audiences with a particular focus on black women, but you don't have to say why.
Yeah.
You just say who. Who will engage with your project, and then you go. Metro culturals, commuter land culture buffs, lovers of new writing. lovers of historical drama. Do you see what I mean? And that is everyone.
Yeah. Oh, I
You
see. Yeah.
Black, so you've got black female audiences, black audiences, Essex women, metro culturals, general theatre goers, metroculturals, lovers of history, lovers of historical drama, lovers of new writing, because that's a really broad range of audiences that you can really hit. Yeah. And then you can say, how will people engage with the project and what experience do you want them to have? And you put all of that there. And the interesting thing would be also what the experience, if you're a white Essex audience or a white Essex woman, or if you're a theatre goer or you like new writing, also what that experience is, because it is an extraordinary experience for anyone watching it. We're obviously a particular potent experience for black Essex women seeing themselves represented on stage, but it's also a powerful piece for everyone.
For different reasons.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And then how are you going to reach us? That's great. Network she states around members when encouraged back community to watch show in South End, Josephine explain. So and then say working with the community, with Queen's Theatre to engage Black community and in Havering. You might. It's Colchester interested.
Well, I messaged Dilek and then I actually spoke to her. I think it was Monday or Tuesday of last week, but actually about another project. And then she was like, "Yes, I haven't forgotten. We're just doing our programming." And I said, "Okay, then, all right, bye." And then I was like, "I'm not gonna contact you again because it's a bit weird being like, hey." So I was like, I'll put it there, and then if they say it, they say it, and if it happens, it happens. But I mean, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. If it goes to a
because you could just do it in 2 places, will be fine. You want to get it in the press, so you can use our press department. To get it in the radio. You want these to be this ought to be a bit quite tangible.
Say that.
Got grassroots. Oh my internet.
Sorry, say that again, Doug, just that bit before.
Hold on.
For a little bit.
Yeah, I mean we can help you with the press for Essex Press, so you can put that down.
Okay, thank you.
You've got grassroots. You want and then social media accounts with all the venues that are involved, and it might be really interesting at how the community centre in Southend can help you too. The Balmoral. Oh yeah, and it's arranged for interviews to be had in it. Yeah, and you can say that we can support you in that as well.
Okay.
What about including the technical team? Yeah, put the technical team in as well. How will I know participants? Shall I cap each team meeting at 20 participants or work it out from there? I would just do an estimate. Not sure, so I don't know where I shall be performing it it's
It might just be rubbish and chatting rubbish in that bit.
Yeah. How many listeners have read? You can look all those things up. The listenership. Yeah, I'll have that. How many people and the lead times is that for yourself?
Oh yeah, they're just little notes for me, really. Like.
Great. Is that all right about that engagement stuff?
Oh yeah. No, that was really good. Thank you. And yeah, that's fine. And shall I include? Somewhere at the top there was a box where I had like director, actors, dramaturg. Do I put things like the lighting designer and do I include those in that box
In the
as well?
artists, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, definitely put the technicians as well.
All right.
Yeah. So budget, writing space. Yeah, rehearsal space. Yeah. You could put 800 actually. I think that's what we are is 800.
Okay.
Marketing support, yeah, that's fine. Press support, help with reaching, yeah, fine. Venue and hire, performance venue, 2 days. That's us, isn't it? So if it went up, that would be more. Budgeting and networking support, yeah. Prop furniture, costume hire support, and then you've got all your fees. Oh, that's the income, yeah. Sorry. You would do, so for example, and this is something we haven't discussed, so if you're doing a show in the artist space and you're ticketing at the foyer stage and you're ticketing it, we do, for example, so you'd have to negotiate this with the other venues, but we would do a 70-30 split in your favour, and the 30% would cover the technicians. So if you were going to charge £10 and you were going to have an audience, say if it's socially distanced audience and it was like 55, that would be 500, and that would be 550 quid, and you would get 70% of that, and you would put that in your income because that's ticket income. Is that all right, Anne?
Yeah, and just like projected it if you've got like a full house.
No, you don't. You can go for half if you want.
Okay.
But you're doing in October, so I'd go for socially distanced house, and just put 50, and that's probably, would be pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us how you've raised or plan to raise the income from other sources that you haven't included in. Haven't raised a penny. You could put from plan to raise, you could put that in income. You can put up projected box office income.
What is so just put am I then not? Oh, plan to raise. Oh, I see. And that's what I hope to make.
Projected income, yeah.
From the tickets of the Queen's and the Balmoral
and the Mercury, yeah.
Mercury. Okay.
Yeah. It might be interesting. I mean, the Balmoral is how you would promote it, definitely. If you have flyers, if you have any posters, or I don't know. I mean,
I'll put that. But
have you? Okay.
Well, and then sorry, you're saying about how I promote the show about getting the black audiences or getting audiences to Balmoral.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned. I don't know if I've said. I think I've said it, but basically about how Josephine.
Yeah.
Melville, how basically she's she's
the mouth.
She's bringing everyone.
She's bringing it. Fine, great, amazing. How brilliant is that?
I know. She's so lovely. She's
great.
So nice.
Okay. And then you have all of these to work out.
Yeah.
Tell us how you manage although I've never budgeted for something on this size. Whilst I was a teacher, I was involved in preparing. I would just take the negative out. Just go, whilst I was a teacher, I was involved in preparing the budget for the school shows, which involved a similar process in terms of calculating how much would be required. Take any negatives out. Be required to construct and hire costumes to do. That's brilliant. Just go straight for the positive thing.
Yeah.
I've also organised a number of hen do's for close friends. This is involved. I love it. Just social events. I've also organised a number of social events.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if they'll look down on it or not. I mean, we know how fucking hard it is to organise a hen do. Well, I don't, but I know friends who've had to do it. But I've organised a number of social events. This has involved the process of working out what should be suitable accommodate. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to know. By keeping the money in a separate account, I was immediately able to see how much. Yeah. I felt that this was managing these activities along with the record keeping organisation skill needs to stand me in good stead for managing a budget for my piece of work. Yeah, that's great. I'm also fortunate enough to have on hand my partner who is taught I taught both A-level business studies in academics for 20 years, and who also kept books for his own business for a number of years if I need further assistance. Yeah, so just, cut it down. You could, why don't you put your partner in as a in-kind
Oh yeah.
financial support?
Yeah.
And then you've got it like as an official title. And I would just put that in. Tell us how including the cost of Doug told me. I realise I can't put this. There was good stuff in Mia's, because we've done a similar thing, pinch Mia's stuff.
Okay.
Because that was, it was really good. And it was a similar process that we went through. Mia,
Okay.
can you pinch some of your stuff from your form?
Of course, pinch what you like, darling. Of course, if you need me to, I'll just copy and paste. Yeah, not an issue.
Thank you.
It was written. Yeah, it was good. And Mia's had obviously run businesses and stuff, but I think that seemed. It was, yeah. I was just really well informed. It's really good. You should pinch it. Which is just basically Doug told me, but in nicer words, fancier words.
Okay.
And she's done all the fair pay stuff as well, which you should just pinch. And to be honest, when I first did my applications, because I borrowed people's applications forms and just pinched it all, and then just did that again and again and again every time I did an application. Confirm. So yeah.
I put about that. I'm not sure what to write for the partners thing, but when you were doing me a seconds ago, you're saying about going on the website and putting like about being a community theatre and helping artists and on stage. So I will do that, and
it's all of that. Yeah, and the Mercury will have a similar thing about talent development as well.
Okay.
And I suppose also because you're reaching, and it's the same for Mia actually as well. But we have experience of reaching new audiences by close relationships with community groups within and they'll have something that's quite similar as well. We have a track record of developing new audiences.
And I put the seekers like the South Essex African Caribbean Association. So I put her down like as a partner in terms of her being like, yes, absolutely, tell me what you need kind of thing.
Yeah, great.
But that's not okay, sure. I was like, it's like her just saying, yeah, I'll help. But whereas, do you know what I mean? But then yeah, she's a chairperson. I'm chatting shit and thinking out loud. But I was like, she's not a big theatre business.
No, I think that's really great. It can be an association, yeah. Like we often do partnership work, and that might be with the Havering Asian social welfare. It can be a social change organisation or a charity or just an association. That's a really key partner, I think, for you in that the project's achieving success in Southend. So I'd put it as a partner. Definitely. And that's your Southend partner, isn't it? So that's good because you've got a partner in each of the three places. So if there be some touring and other types, yeah, it is touring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a tour.
A tour. Okay.
Yeah, that is a tour. I mean, if you end up doing 2 venues, yeah, it's still a tour because the activity's not taking place in one venue.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's that activity. Yeah, and that's everything you've done to date, isn't it? Tell us what you've done, which you've written the play, it's been tested, and then you go all the conversations that you've had, the booking of the venues. That all goes in that section there. Only when I need to my start and then dates to this, right? Yeah, only when I know. Yeah, that's right. And then just really go into loads of detail of what the project timeline is. Project results, number of new products are commissioned. So that's one, because you've got a new play. So that's a new commission. That's a new product. You've got one. Interestingly, Mia, we didn't talk about that, but whether your blog, your rehearsal diary probably is might be a new product as well.
The digital rehearsal diary is a new
Yeah,
product.
I think that's a product. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Would the sessions for education and training, would that be when me working with the researcher?
Yeah, I suppose it is like training. Yeah. Yeah. That's your training though, isn't it? I think it's more to do with training for if you have participants, actually.
Okay.
It's the other way around. Keep a project diary. Oh, where's your... In order to reflect on my journey, I plan to take a series of photographs throughout the process. At the end, I'll form an image diary to remind me of just how the project will come at the beginning. Yeah, that's not quite what your evaluation will be. So yeah, through post shows, you need to be having like meetings with your you need to pre-meet with your creatives. You need, you know, the evaluation is like, how can you structure something for yourself? I mean, it's obviously for the Arts Council as well. How can you structure something that will help guide you and give you the space to reflect and to allow the other partners or creatives to also reflect back so that you can take that? And so the evaluation is really key so that the project is successful. So what can you do to ensure that at every stage the project is going to be successful? So a weekly meeting with your creatives, a weekly meeting with your mentor, a kind of pre-meet of the project, and a post-meet, a post-evaluation where all the creatives talk about it. You've got audience surveys, audience Q&A, maybe a debrief with all the partners after the project.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So how do you construct your own personal diary running, which is, you know, the series of photographs, something where you have some self-reflection on it? I know it sounds a bit, we always think this is just for the Arts Council, and it is for the Arts Council. They want to know that you're going to reflect on the process and collect reflection from other people to successfully evaluate the project before, during, and after. So you want to, it should be something nice to create, I think, when you go, how do I keep sane during this, and how do I keep having objectivity during the project? How do I check in with everyone and know that they're okay? That's what you want to create there.
Okay.
And they just put it in like, yeah, like regular meetings, but go weekly, be really specific.
Okay.
This will help me to stick to writing. Yeah, the writing deadlines, that's all good. I will have deadlines and feedback from the dramaturg and the director of this process and this process and this process. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
I think it's often always those bits are like, oh, because they're obviously the Arts Council are really focused on evaluation and they want all of that, but actually it's a really good thing to try and create something that is useful for you in that process. And also that because you will have to write an evaluation form at the end, so just that you're making sure that you're picking stuff up to be able to successfully evaluate the project at the end. And it's actually a nice thing to do when you've written the evaluation form, because it gives you that objectivity, and also you kind of can really celebrate what you've done. And you look at the kind of survey results from audience and you go, goodness me, I made something really, really extraordinary there. And I've got all this amazing feedback from the people that I worked with, from the people that, and that I learned something, maybe that audiences responded in this way to that section of the text, and I will change that in the future. You know, it's a really, really useful process for yourself. Great. Are there any questions there, Anne? I think it's really clear and it's really come on loads. The project is really concise. Is that all okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
What are the major concerns? Are there any things that you're worried about?
It's just the budget for me.
The budget,
really.
I can help you go through. I can help you go through the budget.
So, That's the main bit, really.
Get your partner to go through the budget.
Yeah. What? You? Oh, John.
John.
Yeah, surprise, Friday night surprise.
Yeah, I can help you with the budget. Great, brilliant. So, if people need a wee, you can have a wee. I just suddenly realised we're on here for like 3 hours sometimes and no one's going to the toilet. So you might raise your hand. And you get a glass of wine if you want as well. So,
I'm gonna get a Diet Coke.
Oh, that would be good.
I'm standing up and you're gonna know that I'm in my pyjama bottoms, but it's all
go,
good.
I want to see. Go.
Okay, all right, hang
You're
on.
always in your pyjama bottoms on the Zoom.
Oh, if I stand back, I'm sorry. I had a shower beforehand though.
Yay, good pyjamas. And good boots. It's got cold outside again, isn't it?
It's freezing. Freezing, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting a Diet Coke.
So, Sally, I've got some water here. So I need some water. Sally.
Oh, sounds like the teacher used to say my name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Doug.
Yeah, great. So, the project Up the River involves 4 short 200 plays about local Wessex tales set on the banks of the Thames, threaded together with a bespoke piece of watery music written especially for the performance. The plays are placemaking and promote community interest. These tales of body snatching, smuggle and betrayal, written by myself and 3 other local emerging writers, will be shown in non-traditional venues and will include immersive and sensory elements. The shows encourage a sense of enjoyment and much needed well-being. The 4 twisted tales celebrate the uniqueness of Essex, entertaining and enriching the local community, stimulating mental health and well-being for the participants, the performance and the audiences alike. Yeah, it's really concise, it's great. That's really great, it's really clear. January, February, March, April, May, 24th of May. Oh, project end the 11th. Okay, so that's all the beginning process of writing. And yeah, okay, great.
Do I have to write something there about the outcomes?
No, they are the outcomes, I think.
Okay, that's fine.
Did it give you any? Yeah, that's the let's create outcomes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I think it's the other one as well, cultural communities, village towns and such a story for a collaborative approach to culture. It's the other one as well, isn't it? Which is the 3rd one. I can't see it on here. Is that the 2nd one, cultural communities? It is, isn't it? I think you're also the 3rd outcome.
Tell us which of the outcomes listed below you think the project will contribute to.
Because you've got to be careful there. I'm just going to have a look at someone else's. You've got a creative and cultural country is also your outcome as well.
Creative and cultural.
Yeah, so that's the creative and cultural country is the professionals making work. Okay. Cultural communities is when artists and communities come together to be creative together. So yours is actually really primarily is the 3rd one and maybe a little bit the 2nd one.
Okay.
Following the success of Out Loud Productions, my TI company, which ran for 11 years, included collaboration with Southwark Council, the Metropolitan Police, Surrey Council, Victim Support and NHS. In 2018, I started 2 handlers to explore new ways of producing and performing theatre. It was great, so much more positive. Pick Your Play was the company's first production. Here I cultivated relationships with local, aspiring and emerging writers, fostering their creativity to produce several short plays together. This experience will be invaluable to helping me develop local writing talent in my project. up the river. Two-handers, second project, a series of plays at Bell Fair's Woodland Centre enabled me to develop experience of working with alternative theatre venues. Brilliant. Again, this will benefit up the river, which will rely on similar venues. In 2019, I collaborated with Southend Council, Rochford and Castle Point Council to write a mental health play for secondary schools called I'm Drowning. In 2020, I turned the play into a screenplay, which explored the impact of COVID-19 on young people. The film has been distributed across Essex, providing me with a number of local contacts and furthering my production expertise as I learned to work in the COVID school workplace. Drawing upon this wealth of experience will ensure the successful production of Up the River. It's great. Tell us more about the project. The idea behind this project is to explore the potential of the geography and history of the River Thames and its place in our local communities and society today. There is a wealth of story, myth, legend, and social history giving rise to fantastic opportunities for drama. Up the River will bring local artists together to create theatre about Essex. This work will open the community's eyes to the richness of the local history. Through this project, artist collaborators will be able to develop their writing for performance. They will be able to explore new and inventive styles using my experience in writing for stage to assist them. And now is an appropriate time to bring local tales to life, reawakening a sense of community and pride, bringing people together after spending so much time alone. Local writers and actors have been severely affected by the pandemic, so this project is essential as it will give an opportunity for them to build on their writing and performing skills. This project is crucial to many in the community who have been isolated by COVID-19. It gives them a chance to rediscover the area and value it once again at a time when travelling the world is not possible. Using elements of immersive theatre, the performances will give opportunities for audiences to be fully involved in the pieces in non-traditional venues. Up the River will feed the soul and enrich the spirit. This project will nurture the well-being of Essex. Yeah, great, lovely. You don't say. You don't talk about the practicalities of it. That you don't say how many performance spaces, how many.
So shall I add that in?
Yeah, how many performances as well?
3. Well, there are 3 live performances, and then there's the radio record. So I don't know whether that's 4 or 3.
That's 3 for live performances and a radio record, but that's that's not here in your project.
Not in there, no.
And
tell us more about the project. So that's where I need to add that in.
Yeah, and actually some of this could be in what do you want them to experience?
So I could use some of the using elements of immersive theatre. That could be in what I wanted them to experience.
You've got the section later on is how, who you're going to reach and what do you want them to, what's their experience of the piece going to be.
Uh-huh.
And I think that is your piece about people who are previously isolated. You've got the thing about accessible venues. I mean, this at the moment, I get a lot of idea, but I actually don't know how many performances there are, and I don't know how many actors.
Okay, so if I can add in the 3 live performances and then the 4th radio one into that bit and take out from the project is crucial, put that into the bit about what I want people to experience.
Yeah, this project is crucial in the community. Yeah, that would be in later on. Okay. But at the moment, I don't know how many performances there are. I don't know where you're performing it. I don't know how many actors involved. I don't know how many writers. Did you put the writers in the summary? I don't know. There's I don't know about the rest of the team, the director.
So the director and all of that has to go in here.
Yeah, it's the nuts and bolts of the project. So, and how many weeks of rehearsal? How long is the writing period? So that should buy you, if you take that out, maybe that should buy you the space to be able to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
All of this, the idea is really lovely. We just want to go, but what actually is it? What?
Yeah.
The idea is great, but what actually is it and how many people are doing it and how long?
So actually, in the "He will engage with your project," I put that about the actors and the directors in there. So I need to take
that's
that out of
that
there.
all has to go into here. Yeah.
Okay.
This is all really good. This project will develop my work as a producer by enabling me to forge more partnerships with local talent and community to enhance, become more established and familiar to audiences for future productions. Using my past experience for drama school, regular theatre work as a voice artist and nurture actors during the rehearsal period, ensuring they're able to work with microphones and be flexible in their work as performance space. That's more about them rather than it is about you. Unless that develops your skill as somebody who nurtures actors. But Adam.
Yeah, no, yeah, I see what you're saying there.
This is about how it will develop your work. And again, here, the emerging writers of how. So it will be an opportunity for you to use your experience at drama school and as a writer to become an experienced facilitator of other artists. Do you see what I mean? You need to switch it round the other way. And this is great. Then you can build on your music skills and investigate ways of creating music and drama in future performance. The project will continue to increase my person. Yeah, it's just this middle section is about other people, and you need to spin it around to be that you can galvanize all your skills into a relatively new role as a facilitator of other people, which is something that you've longed to do for a while. Just spin it around so it becomes about you.
Okay.
Yeah. Give us a little bit more about what were they role in the project, composer. Can you, because here you, oh no, that's fine, because you get them elsewhere, don't you? Get to give the bio elsewhere. And what are you going to attach?
Yeah, I don't know really what to attach. I mean, I could attach a clip of the film that I made in October.
Yeah, what I would do, well, what about your previous productions and pictures?
Yes, I've got pictures. I could attach those.
But what you'll need to do is make a PDF with hyperlinks to all. I would make a document that has some pictures and links to all the things that you want. And then you make that as a PDF and you attach it.
Thank you.
So, but it's a bit of a portfolio you want to put together. And none of this is, you're not targeted at specific groups.
Well, it's sort of targeted as everybody. So originally I ticked all of that, and then I thought, well, actually,
no, you'd have to justify that.
I thought it was just for everyone, really. Although possibly not if you're under 7.
You could, unless you want to target, you could target, because you said about people who are isolating, if you want to do like a really specific marketing campaign for those who of an aging population that would have likely isolated.
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, so why didn't you do that? That will just strengthen it, that it's really targeting a group of people at much need. We have a great need at the moment for live performance and live interaction. So yeah, this is all in the wrong place then.
Yeah.
So you want to say who this is. So this is theatre goers, traditional theatre goers, non-theatre goers, aging population who may have isolated during the pandemic. You know, this is who's going to come and watch it. So there, in that prompt, think about the audiences and the people who will take part. I know that's confusing. People who take part is tricky, but that's about audiences or participants rather than the people who are making it. And be really, really specific about that. I often work to a young person who wishes to gain experience within the theatre. Yeah, so most of that.
Most of that needs to be in the other bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is your market. That's in the other bit. How are you going to reach them? Up there, we'll engage with audience members who've already shared their contact deals with two-handers from previous productions. They will join by those who've been directly informed through community links, social media platforms, word of mouth from the cast. Using the Liaison U3 as an audience for the read-throughs will encourage another part of the team. Yeah, this is how you're going to get them. So unfortunately, nothing in here
Nothing
is
in there. I've got to rewrite the whole thing there.
Yeah, is think about the audiences and the people who would take part. And this section is for them to go, they want artists to reach people that don't normally get reached. So your non-theatre goers and your aging audience, you need to really unpack that all. How will people engage with the project and what experience do you want them to have? People will be working at the project as audience members, not only as viewers, but engaging in immersive and sensory parts of the production. There'll be 3 performances. Yeah, so that should have been turned outside, partly covered in this promenade theatre with the local music, also be able to engage with the project via the radio recordings. How will they engage? Through this project, people will be able to experience togetherness over a period where, so that experience stuff that you put earlier on can go in here. But you want them to go, people to connect to the project, so they will engage as audience members. Yeah, that's fine, viewers, but by engaging in immersive and sensory parts of the productions, there will be 3 performances. Yeah, so that you need to describe a little bit more what the experience is going to be. They walk into a wood, they hear this, they see that, or they go into a castle, they will have this, they will have this. Their experience will be engaging with new environments that they may have never been to. They will see it in a different way. They will engage with theatre in a non-theatre environment. They will come away enriched by narrative. They will think of theatre in a different way. They will think about those spaces in a completely different way. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But be really, really specific about what. And then there's the experience of the radio piece as well. What is that? What does it sound like? What voices are going to be there? What is it through? What platform are they having to go to experience it? Two-handers already has a lot of following who have engaged with the company throughout lockdown. Yeah, it's good. This group will be notified of the production news and social. Through advertising, working my contacts, the community, further audience members are will from sailing clubs, ordinary trust members, various aspects. Yeah. So Margaret's Church, Girl Scouts groups in the family, the writers, actors, and artistic covers will share the social media spreading information about the project. with the partnership of the Maritime Ready, there will be an opportunity to interview with writers, actors, highlighting the event, the voiceover. Yeah, so I'd say non-theatre audiences through these, you're reaching non-theatre audiences through these community groups. That's really strong. And if you want to attract an older population as well, you might want to think of just how you can really specifically target them. I would put the Two-Handers already has a loyal following. You've engaged with the company throughout lockdown, put that at the end, because really it should be about new audiences first. That's the exciting thing. Artists and creators specialists, audience 220, audience broadcast 24,000. Yeah, that's all good. It's the earned income from ticket sales, do you think? Is that what it is?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I wasn't. I was a bit confused about the whole thing about the budget. I don't know whether you were. I mean, the Woodland Centre, they offer they're very kind to me, and they offer a very generous split of a 60-40, and they do all the advertising and everything.
Right.
And prior to the pandemic, I mean, they were having to turn people away because they had people queuing to come to see the show. So we did very well, but I don't think that I wouldn't be comfortable packing the place as full as it was before because of the pandemic. So it's possible that we might. I can't get hold of Greg at the moment because they're not working, but it's possible we might do 2 sessions there.
Okay.
So,
but well, that's for you to work out, yeah, and then
that's roughly what the money would be by the time we've sold the tickets at Shrewsbury House as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think you can be.
We won't make any money at the Sailing Club because they've offered us free rehearsal space.
That's fine.
In return for the show.
I think you need to unpack this a little bit about the Woodland Trust members and how they're going to advertise.
Okay.
We need a bit more marketing here. How is Shrewsbury House are going to advertise to their client database? Be really specific about it. An email, 3 emails, or on. We need a more detailed marketing plan.
Okay.
In that section, how are you going to reach people? Confirmed income in total, earned income, ticket sales, private income, support radio, voiceover, publicity and promotion. Okay. Tell us how we've raised and planned to raise any. In previous drama works from 200 meant 200. The sale of tickets will produce the rest of the raised money. That's great. Yeah, great. Yeah, that all looks good. Yeah, that's good. Have you put anything in for evaluation?
Yes.
Okay. The budget for this project will be managed drawing on my previous experience of budgeting. Over the last 12 years, I've managed budgets for productions funded and part funded by victim support. That's all great. Whilst managing the budgets, I'm responsible for booking venues, purchasing set and costume, travel, paying actors, directing. That's all really great. Most recently, I've been responsible for film budget of 15,000. Regular meetings were held with the funders and booked. Yeah, this is really lovely. Right. The cost of this project has been calculated using experience. Gain from previous productions where possible. Yeah, ITC arts rates. Yeah. All looks good. Great. I think this, if you, whether you consider I think your 3 venues are your partners.
Right. Yeah.
So you need to talk about their experience there, which will help as well. Their experience of reaching the least engaged. But I think those 3 venues are your partners. So I wouldn't submit this until you've got your partners.
I should have Shrewsbury House. I'm in communication with them. I'm just waiting for them to confirm.
Right.
And I will. I think I'm going to wait until next week till the schools have gone back, because then I think that the Woodlands Trust will open, because they can do coffee, because everyone can have a coffee and sit on a bench, can't they? So yeah. I think that they will open again. So then I think that he will be there. I mean, we had a show booked, which is just like rolling at the moment, because every time we've been going to do it, it's been postponed. Yeah. So I think that we just ask for that show, because it was originally called Open Grave, but I don't think that's appropriate right now.
No.
Somehow it doesn't seem quite right. So
no.
So I feel that Up the River is probably a little bit more upbeat. So I think that they'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. Activity venues booked, writers booked an assigned story. I haven't got the selecting of writers here or scripts complete. Director preparations, cast and engage actors. Oh yeah, writers book. But maybe where's the research around the writers?
I've already done that actually.
Oh right, okay. Fine.
Do I need to put that
in your activity that you've already done? Yeah. And then you need to have, yeah, venues booked, okay. But I think you need discussions with the venues also about how the projects are going to run. And
so if I've done that already, do I put that in a, do I put that at the beginning?
Activity to date, planning to date.
Planning to date, okay.
Liaison with the venues prior to, because in particular there, but your partners, marketing meetings with the partners, you needs, this is a very short activity timeline for quite a detailed project. So how do you manage the relationships with the venues? How are you managing your relationships with the creative team? Are you having a pre-meet with the director? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Rehearsals, line, run through. Where's the setup for the venue setup? It needs lots more detail in there. Just in that activity, just list everything that you're going to do.
Okay.
In real detail. It's best to put too much in it so that they go, oh, this is really thorough. It's really thought through.
Uh-huh.
The project will be monitored throughout its development using specific time goals to make certain the project is on track. And you haven't put those evaluation.
And they need to be in the activity
in the timeline.
bit.
Yeah. As one of the writers myself, I will meet with the other writers each week to talk through the development there. That should be in the timeline. Plan read through. In the timeline, set date will allow writers to focus on the script and deliver in time. One booking is confirmed at all venues advertising and regular meetings held across discuss marketing the project. That all needs to be in your timeline. Monitoring of this needs to match your timeline. Monitoring of the budget throughout the lead of the performance will be weekly. So weekly monitoring of budget and the timeline. This is all really great stuff. Just write it down in the timeline with regular check-ins with collaborators, artists. Motivation will be maintained. The director, that's lovely. The director and producer will evaluate success that read through the scripts, highlight, I will put all of this detail in. Any concerns can be addressed before rehearsal. This is great. There will be further evaluation of the project. It's delivered. Collaborators will be asked to fill out the simple all the evaluation forms in the timeline, asking if they achieve their desired goal from the partnership and with the project. It's lovely evaluation stuff. This is good stuff to Nick as well, Anne. A random selection of audience members from each performance will be asked to complete a short survey about their experience. Accumulating this evidence will show evaluation of the project as a whole. This is really good evaluation stuff. Well done. This is really cracking. It's great. But just make sure it.
Just put it in the timeline. So
yeah, put it on the timeline, and that's everything done. Yeah, great. So more on there's some detail missing from the project, isn't there?
Yeah. So
and who you're going to engage with,
and just to manipulate it, take some of it out and put it into different sections.
Different sections,
yeah,
and more about the experience as well. Much more detail about the experience. Great.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's great. Actually, you've made me feel a lot more confident about it.
Oh, great. Well, that's okay. Good.
As Anne knows, I've rewritten it several times, as I told her.
Yeah. Well, the thing, the stuff, it's always really difficult in these applications. I think we forget to talk about the project. And the one thing is, and I know it's really difficult, we're not really identifying who is going to engage with it.
Mm.
That's hard, but you want to really think who you want. Who's going to have the best, and particularly yours more than anything, because it's non-traditional. It's really non-traditional.
Yeah. I
mean, it's really great because Anne and Mia are both, you're going into non-traditional venues as well. It's a non-traditional form for Mia, and Anne's going into non-traditional venues as well. So you're all trying to reach audiences that don't normally go to the theatre, but you've got to really unpack that and who will engage with the project.
Sometimes you think you've done it because you sort of live and breathe it and you think you've done it.
Sure,
and when somebody else looks at it, you think, oh yeah, actually you're so right. I didn't see that bit coming.
Yeah.
Because you're so concerned in making sure that you're ticking all boxes. Actually, you haven't really looked at the actual question.
Yeah, and you forget the thing that you know what the show is going to be like, and you know who you want, and you just sort of take it for granted.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you very much.
That's all right. And then, last but not least, Kristin. It's not the one I want to share. Hang on, where is it? There it is. Okay. This project, Big Wally, is 4 weeks of R&D on a semi-autobiographical one-person comedy show about brain injury, exploring themes of class and shame and challenging how we react to invisible disability in society. The process will allow 2 weeks of research with experts, brain injury survivors and their families with Headway. And 2 weeks of rehearsal. Is it organisation and 2 weeks of rehearsal?
It's headway.org. That's just.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting tired now. And 2 weeks of rehearsal with director dramaturg, where we will develop the play to completion. Organisational and R&D funding will allow us to make an audience-tested show accompanied with the marketing strategy, online trailer, tour pack, and tailored workshops to accompany national tour. Tell us total amount you're applying for. £6,000.
I haven't revised that with the budget, so I put
fine. Okay.
What I need to look at.
Activity 1st of July through to the 1st of October. Okay. Creative and cultural country. I love it. You all go. And you put know your name again. It's really special. I'm an actor, creative producer, and a workshop facilitator from Havering, Essex. I've performed at venues like Southwark Playhouse, King's Head, and the Roundhouse. I recently produced and performed my own device show, which sold out. I mean, that's brilliant. That's such a difference compared to the last one. You're all much better. You've all done so brilliantly at selling yourselves in these sections, much better than before. As a creative producer, I've secured and managed over £50,000 for creative projects. I was awarded over 11,000 by Brent Council and West London partnerships to produce films and lead workshops that would engage young people from disenfranchised areas. The films produced appeared as feature shorts before the main programmes at the Lexi and Tricycle cinemas. The films were shown at 80,000 people at Olympic Torch Relay, recognition BFM. Film Award nomination, Cannes Short Film Festival, London Short Film Festival, Boston Film, Los Angeles Women's Film Festival. Okay, my director, Laura Keefe, is Associate Director of Wise Children, with recent work including Romantics Anonymous and Mallory Tale. She's made work with Shakespeare's Globe, Watermill Theatre and Oval House. Her productions toured to the Bush Theatre Roundhouse. Yeah, great, that's really great. And that is interesting. If you have got somebody really great as a key part of, you can put them into that section. I will produce alongside Emma Blackman, who was the Theatre Daily London head producer and programmer before launching her own company. She's co-founded numerous theatre festivals, and her recent show, Bobby and Amy, won Edinburgh Fringe First Award 2019 and Vault Festival Show of the Week award at Vault Festival before heading on to a national tour. Great, it's really strong. Big Wally is 1 hour, one person. That's interesting about the time. Time is quite interesting. One person theatre show about brain injury. Imagine waking up in Essex in the 1980s, no prior knowledge of the county or decade you find yourself. In 1987, this happened to my father. He awoke from a coma with no memory, a new personality, and the ability to sing, incorporating accessible. Inability. Yeah, I was going to say, wow. In incorporating accessible forms in comedy and music, this show will explore the devastating effects of the invisible disability. The University of Exeter report described traumatic brain injury as a silent epidemic. Head injury is the commonest cause of death and disability in people aged 1 to 40 years in the UK. There's a growing body of research on the overrepresentation of people with brain injuries in the prison population. Myself and Director Dramaturg will gather research from experts at Headway, SameU, connect with survivors and families in online community health unlocked. Myself and Laura will grab this information, our existing draft, and enter the rehearsal room with 3 brain injury survivors. Using improvisation and devising techniques, we will develop the play to completion. It will be, are the 3 brain injury survivors going to be there all the time?
Well, I think that's what we still got to work through. So it depends on COVID as well. So I think it might be too overpowering to have them all there. So we might just have one ad hoc days. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe just invite and room. Yeah, because it sounds like they're going to be there all the time.
Yeah.
Using improvisation and devising techniques, we will develop the play to completion. It will be tested at Ealing Studios, Queen City Hornchurch. We will create and test out writing actor workshop that will run inside a national tour aimed at people from Havering, Forflares in London. With organisational funding, we will create an online trailer tour pack with 10+ venues and wraparound activities. With organisational funding, we will create an online trailer tour pack with, what does that mean with 10+ venues?
So we'll book 10+ venues.
Oh, right, that's not clear. Yeah, so you will develop a tour basically, won't you, and a wraparound and a wraparound activities in that tour.
Yeah.
So that's part of the project, that once you've done all of that, you will then create a tour.
Yes.
Yeah. Or begin the process of creating a tour, because it's tricky getting a tour, because sometimes touring venues won't, because I presume you will then apply for more funding for the tour.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can do that in the process, but what you want to do is cultivate venues for a potential tour.
Got it.
Because quite often venues won't book unless you've got Arts Council funding for the actual tour.
Right.
So they might know that, and they might go, oh, that's a bit strange. How can you book a tour when you don't actually have the money to do it all? unless you're doing the tour just on box office income. But it sounds like a piece that probably would be good to get touring. We were strengthening existing relations, theatres and forging new relationships of venues. Yeah, so all of that to create a 10 gig tour for the future. The not included in this funding. I've already completed 2 R&D weekends of this project and forged relations. The Queen's Theatre Headway and saying, I have over an hour's worth of content, but unfortunately, due to lack of funding, I haven't been able to afford any more time. This funding will allow me to complete this theatre piece and collaborate with a highly established dramaturg. From working with Emma on this project, I will learn skills needed to produce a full-length theatre show. I'll be introduced to designers, stage managers, and broker new partnerships. I will forge new relationships with theatre venues and outside spaces, so our show is COVID-friendly. Funding will allow me time to create acting, writing workshops that will be targeted at people with invisible disability, their families, and their people that may not ordinarily have access to the arts. As a working class woman from Havering in Essex, gaining access to the arts growing up. Yeah, we haven't mentioned class elsewhere. If you identify as working class or intersectional working class, then that it's definitely worth putting in. Gaining access to the arts growing up was extremely difficult. Havering Borough has the 4th lowest level of public arts in London and is in the bottom 33% of places nationally. It has taken me a long while to be able to carve a career in the creative sector after often being overlooked because of my lack of education and my Essex accent. At the end of this project, I will devise my first theatre piece and made the transition from creatively producing film to theatre. Great. Sounds good, doesn't it? Working with new people. Oh, which ones are this? Working with new people, creating, commissioning a new work. That is there as well. Is that meant to be in red?
Don't know why that's in red. I think I was putting a note on something maybe that was said before. You
should. These ones you're ticking are new people, commissioning new work, reaching new audiences.
Oh yeah, I've highlighted the ones in red. I think are the ones I'm doing.
Yeah, and you're commissioning a new work. You're making a new play.
Ah.
You're trying out new approaches because you have never done this before.
Oh, okay.
So it's all of them.
All right.
Yeah, so all of these people. These are a really great team you've got together. That's really great. On completion of R&D, our online trailer we shared with Headway online community that has over 8,000, most of which are disabled. So this is where Mad Dog Casting have offered to share the trailer on. This is how rather than who.
I think about the audience of people who would take part. I see.
Who are they? Who is the audience?
Cool.
Because it's an audience for an R&D and then the potential future, and this is the same problem again.
Yeah.
Who are they? So you've got people who have experience, so they're seeing their stories represented, and that's great because you've got all these connections, how to reach them.
So this is the audience or participants. So the audience is for the scratch night, and the participants that we'll speak to are the contributors that will talk to us about their experience. Yeah, and then you talk roughly about potential future audiences. Got it. Cool.
And this is how you're going to reach them. This is more how you're going to reach them.
Sure, yeah. So how is this one different then?
This is who will engage with the project, yeah. And this is how will people engage with your project, or what experience do you want?
Cool.
So, like it will be that in a one-woman show, traditional theatre space, or it's an immersive experience, or through digital. That's how you're engaging. You might engage them through really bespoke, designed posters and flyers. Yeah, I mean that's also a marketing thing too. But it's how you reach them. How will people engage? So you could be on the street, or it's in a traditional theatre, or you go to their houses, or that it's all that, and then how they feel about it, and it's how you've thought about that, the experience of their experiencing of the project. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does. Thank you. Yeah, I rewrite
Because
that.
project grants can cover all different forms as well. So you should talk about in traditional theatre spaces or non-traditional theatre spaces, because that's part of how they engage, isn't it?
Yeah.
They come into a space that they know really well. They come into a new space, or they come into they're coming into a theatre which is a community hub, so it feels like a safe space.
Yeah.
It's what their experience will be. They will sit in cabaret style tables. They will.
So like it's all kind of set in the 80s with like bright colours and things. Can I talk about?
Oh God, yeah, that's brilliant. That's amazing. Yeah, definitely. Great. How are they, what's going to happen to them, and then what will they take away, basically? Someone's going to whiz up to them with a plate of food, or, it's all of what's the atmosphere, what's the mood, how, what is going to be brilliant and exciting, and then what will they take away from it?
Understood.
Yeah. And then tell us how you will make sure your project reaches people. So that's all of your. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. No, I love that. Great. That person sounds amazing. Marketing psychology will help. Have you put that in already in your project? Is that the first time you mention it?
I think I mentioned him when I put about associates, but I'm running out of character stuff to put him.
Okay. We all want to work with them. They sound amazing. But this is what Headway's reach. The Queen. You haven't put the Queen's Theatre.
I didn't know what your reach was, so I was waiting to.
Yeah.
Put that because I didn't.
40,000 people.
40. Cool.
Yeah. But how we'll do it? We'll target audiences, risk-taking audiences. We'll target audiences for the other stage, or outer limits, people who are interested in emerging, in local artists. So we can, we'll take you through that.
Can that do like a relaxed performance as well?
You do a relaxed performance, but definitely. That might go in your how will people engage?
Yeah.
But I would definitely put the relaxed performance in the project earlier on. You need to do that.
Okay.
And we've got really strong history of training and also delivering relaxed performances. So you should put that in there as well.
Perfect.
Fine.
I found the budget stuff really hard. I've never done a theatre budget. I find it.
I know. So Anne and I were talking about this as well. It is just what you need. What.
I think it's just I saw Mia's, and Mia's looks great, and it's like a whole attachment, and I feel that I've not.
But that's only because Mia's put that into a spreadsheet, because she's a spreadsheet queen. But that yours will go into a spreadsheet because it will go into the application.
Ah, okay.
And it will appear like a spreadsheet. But you just, what do you need? Do you need a stage manager? Do you need actors? Do you need script printing? Do you need props? Do you need furniture? Do you need writing time? Do you need producing time? It really is everything that goes into the project.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Just everything that you need. Do you need a technician?
Sorry to interrupt you. Could I just also say something about the budget? As somebody who spent loads and loads of years of time trying to balance books.
Oh yeah, please do.
It's really essential that you put in an eventualities bit of the budget and always be over generous, because you just never know. So if, for instance, suddenly the COVID comes back and everything is completely screwed over, you'll need an eventuality so that you can film it and put it out on Zoom. And
That's
if you
not a
haven't,
contingency, no, that's different from a contingency.
well, I call it eventualities, just because you're never sure what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It might be that on the day you get somewhere, and it has happened to me when I got to the rehearsal space, and then there was a flood and we couldn't use it, and it had been given to us. So I had to, literally, I was writing out a check to a big like church hall. They were expensive, and otherwise it comes out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
So that's just it. So I'm sure you knew that, and forgive me for saying it, but I just sometimes think with budgets it's really important to over compensate with
make sure you don't want to be out of pocket. I mean, I think we're calling it a contingency, and that
10% in there, should it be more?
It should. Well, you have to be careful how much you ask for, but I mean, a rough one is normally 3 to 5%, but I think in COVID times you can definitely put it. I think Rebecca put 9%. Of the
I put 10,
budget.
but I can change it to 9.
Yeah.
This question I didn't really understand. I think from what you were saying, I think I misread it in terms of, I thought it was how I'd get other income in addition to.
Tell us how you have raised or plan to raise the income from other sources you have included in the income table. Oh, I see, yeah. Tell us, this is to help us understand whether your budgets and the partnerships support this. No, this is all. Tell us how you've raised or plan to raise the income from other sources you have included in the income table. Well, this is your income, isn't it? So that's everything. Tell us how you have raised or plan to raise the income from other sources you have. Yeah, other sources is all the private funding. You get in kind. So you have to say how you have raised or you're planning to raise. If you go sponsorship or GoFundMe, you have to say how you're going to do it. You might have done that. I know, but that's what I mean. It's if you have raised any money, how have you done it? Or if you plan to raise, how? And this is the income that is other sources.
So do I need to
from other sources is not funding or is Arts Council funding or in kind. So
what I've written there, do I need to add more?
So let me have a look. I haven't read it yet. My last show, Escapology, sold out and made profit. 500 is profit. Yeah, that's good. That's yours. Yeah, that's other sources. 500 donations received from my private funding. Yes, I currently have. Yeah, that's other sources. You'll have income as well, won't you? If you're if people are paying for tickets.
But then how does that work? Because then that's not in your budget.
You should put it. You have to put it in your budget.
So you put it comes under profit, or it comes on.
You put in with ticket income.
Right. Okay.
I can't remember which box that comes in.
Okay.
You would put in your potential box office income, yeah.
That's what I didn't understand. Cool.
Yeah. Tell us about the support in kind in your budget. Yeah. Yeah. So we need to go through all those values, don't we, for the Queens?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yeah, so you just need to, I mean, if there's anything else that you need within there, if you need a technician.
Yeah, I didn't put any of that.
Script printing. Stage manager, I mean, if you're having any of that. Tell us how you manage the budget for this project and about your previous experience of managing. I'm no stranger to keeping strict budgets for successfully managed government grant. Yeah, great. Multi-million-pound. Brilliant. Great. Independent theatre council rates rather than international.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why I put that.
Yeah. This is all great. Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the Queen's Theatre stuff as well. Great. That's great. That's nice that the creative processes were already happening. Yeah, that's good to put that figure in. Yeah, that would be an interesting one for you, Anne, is to work out how much money has gone into the project already. You know, the writing of Princess Danubulu. So how much has been invested in the project already? Because we can work that figure out, because that's you know, interesting for them to see that amount of time and investment in the first stage, and then you're thinking about it as well. Because really, you know, for all of you, like Anne, you've done quite a lot of research and talking to you. You could put that as a figure of how much of your time that is worth. It's good to put that in at the end to go, I have already invested so much in kind, or this much has been invested into the production already. Yeah. Yeah, could probably be a bit more detail in there. And particularly around evaluation, it's the same thing. The evaluation stuff should be come in there, and the budget, the stuff that you said you're going to do in the managing your budget as well, needs to come in there.
Okay.
5 new products. What are the 5 products or commissions?
Can't remember why I wrote 5. I think maybe I think I probably counted that wrong. I think I counted like 2 scratch nights and read throughs, and then the workshop.
That's the commission, is the play itself.
That's just one then.
And because that's the number of performances.
Yeah.
Yeah, number of, and the workshop is the number of sessions for education training, but the commission is the product, is the artwork itself.
Ah, got it.
Yeah. You've answered the budget stuff, so this is more about the evaluation of the art and the process.
Ah.
Yeah, you can use SMART, that's fine. But it's more about the evaluation is more about the evaluation of the art itself and the process that you've gone into making that. Does that make sense?
I think you covered it, so I can listen to it back. I think you covered it.
Yeah.
But maybe I can include some of that in the other section then and reword that slightly.
Yeah, because the managing the budget is that, and then the evaluation of it is you have a pre-meet, and like, how do you evaluate the success of the relationship with the with the partners? How do you evaluate that relationship, whether it's working or not, before, during, and after? How do you evaluate that the making of the work is going in the way that you want it to go, or that it's going to be successful? How do you manage the relationships with how do you evaluate the success of drawing out material from your community members who are going to be part of it?
Like Q&A can go in there, like an audience.
Yeah, you have to evaluate audience. Yeah, definitely. Surveys, like here, audience feedback, in-person surveys, social media comments. We just pick up everything that any audience member writes, which is on Facebook, social media, or if they said it to a member front of house, we capture it.
Yeah.
Because actually the stuff at front of house is often the really, really useful stuff, because that's just, you know, that's in, how do you know that the whole process and the work itself has been successful, and how do you learn during the process? How are you open to evaluation? That's what all of that is about. It's less about the finance, because that's in your how do you manage a budget.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant. Great. How's everyone feeling? Tired. Is everyone feeling tired? What are the concerns on what are the next stage? What do you want to? So there are certain things that, to go through, aren't there?
Yeah, for me now it's just about really bashing out, like, you know, going through these notes that you've given me, which I think are mainly like they're easy fixes. There's nothing too stressful. But for me, it's focusing on the breakdown of the project, because I haven't got that timeline
Yeah.
yet. And so for me, that's my main focus. But I'm feeling good.
Yeah. We've got some partner stuff to secure, haven't we?
Yeah.
Mainly Anne and Sally.
Yep. I got to rewrite my partners thing.
Yeah. And there's some
stuff over.
Yeah, swap some stuff over. There's some budgeting to do.
I've also got to update my timeline.
Yeah. Anne, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright. Just it's the budget really. I feel slightly like it's so, like, in terms of just numbers, and I'm like, where do I go to and where do I match that up? And
I can help you with the numbers, but what you need to do is write your shopping list.
yeah, I think I've done most of it, but
Okay.
yeah, I think it's thinking more about that. And yeah, and I think I'm hoping that kind of once I get the hang of it, then, you know, then hopefully it'll be all right. But yeah, that's basically the big major thing for me. And of course, it's important to do that. So yeah, for me, it's the budget, and of course going over things, and like the evaluation as well and stuff. But yeah, just securing.
I mean, I think what might be useful is for you to share all your applications, because I think everybody's, like, some people have been really brilliant in that section or less brilliant in that section, and I think it would be really great to just have those to make reference to if you're only if you're up for that.
Yeah,
I'm more than happy to share mine,
because I think there's loads of shared learning in all of it, and I think that will make that end process a little bit, including your wonderful spreadsheet, Mia, because I think your budget probably would help people as well.
Should we set up a little WhatsApp group or something, maybe?
Yeah, and then share the stuff over. Yeah, and you can help each other out.
If anyone's got questions or whatever, we can maybe help each other in that. You've
got each other's email addresses, haven't you? Yeah, so don't, when you swap over your numbers there, and then I definitely have a look, because the collective experience of it, I think, will be really useful. Yeah. Because everybody's done really amazing work. These have come on enormously. They're really great. So I think the next stage is up to, we said the 12th, didn't we? I mean, when did we say the 12th of March to submit?
Yeah.
Yes.
I suppose it's up to you if you still want to. I think, why don't we do, if we could well, I think probably you're on the WhatsApp group, so you're going to be in conversation with each other. Just send me the nearest draft, and we'll do some one-to-one sessions on the last draft. Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
When do we send that? Sorry, When do we send that by?
It's up to you. Want a deadline, don't you? So you need
I
to
need a
send
deadline.
send it. Well, I didn't send it before the 12th of March.
Before
Is
the
that-
12th.
Yeah, because that before the 12th, that's 2 weeks away. There's stuff to sort out. It's only because I'm on annual leave on next week as well, so I wouldn't be able to
Going
look at
somewhere
it
nice.
before. Yeah, I'm going to.
You're having a staycation.
I'm going to my piano. I'm going to play my piano.
Nice.
That so we do that, and if you get it to me before, then that's fine. Is that okay?
Or the 12th.
Yeah, but some of you might want to submit on the 12th. So if you want, here's
I would like
the
to.
option. Well, then you need to submit it to me by. It means we need to have a one-to-one session on Friday the 5th this week. So you need to send it to me before then.
Would that
Okay,
be Friday the 5th in the evening?
No, it would be in the day.
I have to examine from 12:45 on Friday the 5th.
So we could do the morning. We could do a one-to-one session in the morning.
If you wouldn't, if I don't want to be pushy and pushing in front of everybody, but if that was possible, that would be great. Otherwise, I don't have to send it off on the 12th. I would quite like to.
Okay, it's up to you.
But if you think perhaps I should spend longer, I don't mind.
I just think you need to get your partners all secured. And if you think you've got that, then that's okay.
You're right, because they probably won't. Yeah, so perhaps I should send it.
You don't want to write this and then not have the partner secured, and get the money and then it doesn't happen. That would be a real disaster.
Yeah.
You want to give me a time for Friday, Doug?
Yeah, we could do. Shall we say 1 o'clock?
Friday the 5th, 1 p.m. Done. I will see you then.
Great. And if you can get it to me before, that would be great.
No worries. Should we meet on this Zoom link or?
Yeah, the Zoom link will be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Great. And then, Christine, when do you want to get it done by?
I can't do the 5th, but the 12th would be, if I can do it by then, and then I guess by the end of March, I'd like to submit it.
Great. Well, I'm free the week of the 15th. So if you get it to me by the 12th, we can definitely do. Is that all right for you, Anne, as well? And then you could submit it the next week if you wanted to.
Yeah, sorry. So basically, I wouldn't be able to do it by Friday. So basically,
12th.
Get it to you by the 12th, on the 12th, on the 12th.
On the 12th.
On the 12th, and then
with a view to submitting within the next week or so.
All right. Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that okay for me to do that as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Go on.
So just when with the attached material I'm working on at the moment, so I've got a production company, so I'm gonna I've got it advertised like work in development. On there I'm putting that it's Big Wally's in development, but can I put the Queen's Theatre down as a partner?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I just didn't want to do that on a website without checking.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
With partners, if you've got, like, if we're talking to a charity, would a charity come under a partner?
Yeah, they can be. If they're delivering something really significant for you, I think it's organizations. If you're working with an organization and there really is you're working in partnership in some kind of way, then they will be a partner.
Okay.
Definitely.
Sorry,
even if it's something, if they're delivering, like, reaching your audience, then that is a partner.
Okay. Yeah, because I was a bit unsure of like what they kind of come under, because we've started a conversation with a charity to kind of help raise awareness for their cause, but I was a bit like, where would it come under in terms of the application?
It would come as a partner. Yeah, definitely.
And with like getting partners and people on board, so I hope this is an okay question. It's kind of for everybody. Are they people people you've worked with, or have you just kind of been like cheeky and just sent emails and just pestered people?
I've reached out to people. I've done Twitter call out to find a producer, and then like even Sally put me in contact with someone that could potentially, but yeah, just be cheeky.
Definitely
Reach out to
partners.
people.
Yeah, I mean, really push on those partners because they can be really key to the success of a piece. So, you know, when I was writing, you know, making work, we partnered with Kent Libraries on a really specific digital project. So, and I bugged them. I really wanted that to happen. Or I think a part. Go on.
Can I just say, with the charities, also, they're really pleased to hear from you. Like Headway want to raise awareness, so it's not pestering them. You're actually helping by raising awareness through your piece for that charity. So I don't mean it's pestering. I think you're actually doing them a favour.
And then
I think it's talk about it as well. If you talk about it to all sorts of people, so that's how I managed to. So Anne and I had a conversation, and then my daughter said to me, "Oh, have you seen Anne's put out this thing on something that my daughter was part running?" So there was a retweet for Anne, and then by chance, because I mentioned Anne to my daughter, she then had something that was useful for Mia, and then Anne messaged me about somebody else, and it's like so just keep talking about it and asking people. And if you think you want to like go to a venue, I always go to the venue that I want to, and I go to that venue, and I just am a pain, and I just keep chatting to them, and can I do? Yeah, it's great here, isn't it? And buying trivia and crisps and coffees, and eventually they give in and say, "Oh God, all right, okay." That's, you just have to keep going at it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. It can be hard work, that building the partnerships, but they can be so. I mean, partnerships are it's so exciting within a project as well. You know, they can be really so collaborative. Brilliant, well done for another. We've done 9 hours together. Can you believe that?
Thank you so much, Doug.
Hours together.
You must be exhausted.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Nearly there.
Wouldn't it be brilliant if we all got the grant? It'd be fantastic.
That'd be great.
It's so exciting.
I love how you're all supporting each other. It's really great. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to, isn't it?
And Hannah,
everybody's
and
ideas are great.
And Hannah and Charlotte, yeah, they've been brilliant.
Charlotte,
They've been here. They've done their 9 hours.
I feel like we're your little stalkers, just like watching what you guys are up to, making our notes. Like, this is what we've got to do.
So good. It's so good. And lots of people have been engaging with the videos as well, actually. I've had loads of messages of people going, this is really helping. This is really, really helping. So you going through it really, really is helping other people to go.
Well, it is actually really useful talking to other people. I've got friends who I work with who are trying to get grants, and they've got nothing like this in their area. They've got no idea how to do it. So they're always saying to me, what happened? What happened that thing that you went to the other day? And I'm always saying, well, I did this and I did this, and you can have a look at my piece. And it's just about sharing it out, isn't it?
Yeah,
because it's quite a closed shop otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and as you get more successful, you'll be able to support other people. You won't have to come to me. Which is, but I don't mean that in a negative. It's so lovely if you disseminate the information.
Never have to see you again.
But already people who I've helped have already helped other people, which is so great for the region of just going that everybody holds the knowledge. It'll be really, and I've really cracked those early, like once you've done one, it's really so much easier. Great, brilliant. All right, I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a lovely holiday. Have a lovely staycation.
I will do. Bye.
Bye.